Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining the Satsang and guided meditation for today. So I want us just to go around and just do a quick check-in, and we'll start with Anita.
Morning all. I'm all good, thanks. Not too much to mention. Looking forward to meditation. Sounds very exciting. Yep, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Vanessa.
Yes, very nice to be back. I must tell you, I'm actually starting to look forward to these sessions by about Friday. I'm like, ooh. So,
yay!
I'm always a little bit excited to be here. And last week it was amazing. I just got so much last week, and the entire week, it kind of, the glow kept with me, stayed with me. So yes, I'm looking forward to today and getting some new inspiration and yes, whatever the universe wants to give.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks for joining. Tanya.
Hey. Morning, I'm Tanya. It's so nice to be here. I actually saw your message last night, and it just worked out perfectly, so I'll have the house all to myself this morning. So I thought, yes, definitely. And I really need some guidance. And I'm just looking forward to some nice guidance, lovely meditation. Yes.
Awesome.
Can't wait. Yes.
I'm glad that you're joining us today. That's awesome. Thank you. Next.
Hi. So it's been a few weeks, unfortunately, due to other celebrations and things going on. But I have really missed it, so I'm very, very happy to be back today. Thank you. I've certainly felt the lack of positiveness through these last couple of weeks. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you.
Great. Thanks. I'm very pleased that you're joining us today again. So it's always awesome seeing your face.
Thank you.
Barbara.
Also happy to be back. Also looking forward to it every week now. It's become, I think if we had to stop it, I would go into a bit of a decline. But anyway, I've been sort of spent the week trying to transcend everything that's going on, as usual. Try not to let it get me down. And been fairly successful. So it hasn't been a bad week. Thanks.
Good. And Mickey. Checking first.
Yes, I think I kind of did earlier, but I'm happily curious and I'm so excited to be able to dial in. Been looking forward to it. And we're renovating our roof. We had issues and then it rained. But you know what? I'm okay. I'm tucked away in my sanctuary. So I get to enjoy this. So thank you.
Wonderful. I'm glad that you can join us. Okay, so today is a special day because we've got the new moon eclipse, we've got the solstice, and with those special events, celestial events, it always is a good time to connect. The ancients did, because they always did rituals on these special dates. So I get excited with the double-digit dates, like the 1st of the 1st and the 10th of the 10th and all that. But with these celestial events where we have eclipses and new moons and full moons, they always come with potent energies. So the one post that I got was that it's a reset day for us. And it's for us to press the restore our life settings button. For there's the energies that's available is for soul realignment, and that's why we're going to do that special meditation. It's for new beginnings, for new clarity, for new path, for new direction, for new mission, for the next level, for the collective evolution, for breakthroughs, for change, for magic, for miracles, for transformation, for intense healing, new tribes, soulmates, and unions. So what's happening today is a fiery solstice and new moon solar eclipse. The combined solstice and eclipse energies will bring dramatic and sudden change. Fantastic. I think a lot of us is ready for change. Like, because yesterday I was telling someone, 2020 has felt like a chameleon year. It's like, it's a touch and go and a slow movements, and you have to change colors as you go along. And yeah, there's not been any fast tracking of anything. It's more been a review. So we are now experiencing the energetic reset and are witnessing the beginning of a new era. Our entire planet is being rebooting. The energy will be highly charged for the next 48 hours. So expect a radical uprising, stepping fully into our power, chapters ending and new beginnings, final closures, intense healing, making peace with the past, major comebacks and dramatic breakthroughs, total realignment and recharge the warrior spirit. So those are just the special energies that's available today. And I'm glad that as a collective we can tune into those energies and make the most of those energies that's available to us. So yeah. Okay, so yesterday I connected with our group energy, and I asked ask your guides oracle deck for a message for us. And the first one that I drew I didn't like. Because it was, I think, then the next card, it was Discontent. And of the two, this was the better one of the two. That's still not a fun card, but then I thought some of us might be feeling this, so I can't turn a blind eye. We don't all just feel hoo-hoo and excited and upbeat and positive all the time. And yeah, this week I've also had days where I felt this discontent energies, because sometimes you just have so much and then you want some change. So that's why I got excited about the change available today, and I thought, yay, at least as a group we can connecting to that, so let's make the most of it. I'll read you the message that this card brings us today. It says Discontent Muses. The keywords here is dissatisfaction, seeking, searching, and conclusions. Sooner or later, our evolutionary process, each of us begins to realize that it's not having that fulfills our soul, but rather the act of creating that brings us satisfaction. Contentment in what we've created, no matter how grand, inevitably subsides, and our creative juices once again long to flow. That's why the once ideal partner ceases to mesmerize. The perfect job eventually becomes mundane, and the great adventure becomes tedious. Although there's a lot to be said for enjoying what we have right now, we must nevertheless respect the fact that our basic nature is we are creative beings. To create, without the process, we can't be fully content, at least not for long. So your muses are present, and they call on you now to embrace your creative discontent and undertake new projects. The message is, see your frustrations as a longing to learn more, expand more, dare more, and create more. that's the message for today. So who can relate to that? Who is it speaking to? Barbara?
Yeah, I was just thinking of something that I was listening to this week. It was by a guy called a podcast by a guy called Greg Braden. And he was talking about, do you know him? Yeah. He was talking about how with this new normal business, how we've lost the old normal and we're feeling uncertain and we're feeling a sense of grief, almost as though we, like we've lost a partner, we've definitely lost a way of life. We've moved into a new way of life and it's a lot of uncertainty and a lot of people are grieving. But he said the main thing, the reason for the uncertainty is that we need to now start creating the new life. And so that's what I got from that card, that we have to, we've kind of, there's a red line being drawn and we've left something behind and now we have to start creating something new. That's what I got.
Yes, most definitely. Definitely. Okay. And I've been aware of the grieving process by others. So yes, and it is. We have to take responsibility of what we're going to create going forward. So we have to take responsibility what goes on in our mind and what we project forward. And these potent days, so we can set the intent and we can ask for guidance and we can click into the flow of it, where our will more beautifully aligns with the divine will, because the divine will has got a far greater plan and execution of magic and miracles and a myriad of opportunities that's available, where our old thinking was, oh, it can only be done this way because it's the only way that we've done it for eons, and it's not necessarily like that. So yes, thanks for that, Barbara. Thank you. Vanessa.
Yes, I didn't really like the card Discontent when you mentioned it, but then my ears perked up when I heard the word creativity, as it always does. That's always a very good word for me. It resonates, and a lot of what I went through this week had to do with creativity, but it was just a little nudge again, a little reminder that I'm on the right path now. So thank you for that.
Wonderful.
Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, so let's go on to the reading for today. So I'm still continuing the reading from the Parables of Kryon, and I've chosen, or Spirit has chosen number 8, because the card was number 8, so I thought, okay, I'll go to number 8 of our parables, and it's about John and the cave. Okay, so here's a story about the game that was played between Jason and his guides of the Cave of Creation. It's a test of self-control for Jason, disguised as a simple challenge. Can you guess the correlation to your life? So, here the parable starts. Jason had a vision. Actually, it was a dream. But in Jason's case, there was no difference. Jason was very enlightened, and he often had visions in his dreams. This one was especially vivid. Jason found himself at the opening of a great cave, and he instantly recognized what it was. This was the Cave of Creation, the site of the Akashic records, where all the details are kept regarding human entities entering and leaving the planet. Oh, I recognize this place, thought Jason to himself. Standing at the cave was the guardian of the entrance. He was He did not seem bothered that Jason was suddenly standing at the entrance. In fact, he was expecting him. The guardian spoke. Jason, it is good to see you here. We have a puzzle for you, a test, a game for your soul. The guardian smiled, and Jason knew some fun was to be had. This is wonderful, remarked Jason. I love games. Take a look at the path, said the guardian as he effortlessly slid open the big door to the cave. Jason could see that it was a straight and narrow path through the cave. He could see all the other end. He could see the other end of the cave. That there was a light where the exit was. The cave was easily traversed. What is the game? Jason asked the guardian. We would like you to walk through the cave to the exit, and we will give you 1 Earth hour to do so, said the guardian. No problem, replied Jason. What do I get if I succeed? This is not about reward. It is only in playing the game. There is a great honor if you enter at all. Walking this path is the test, and making it to the exit is the goal. Can you do it? I will succeed, said Jason. His sporting nature taking hold. And with this, the guardian stood aside, and Jason began his journey. Jason entered the cave. Again, he looked ahead and saw that the exit was no more than a 1/4 mile journey straight ahead. Realizing he had plenty of time, he stopped for a moment and let his eyesight become accustomed to the subdued lighting within the cave. He moved forward and was interested in the many colors that he was seeing. It was not long before Jason also began hearing sounds. To the left and to the right of him, he heard events taking place. Jason thought to himself, I have an hour. It's only going to take me about 15 minutes to get to the exit. So I shall stop and investigate what is this that I'm hearing. Jason stopped and turned to the right. Instantly, he saw a rack of full glowing crystals. He carefully left the path and went over to the interesting objects. On each shelf was one like crystal. There was a special writing upon them. Jason gently grasped one, not picking it up. He was instantly taken to an event that the cryptic one writing represented. Jason saw, amazingly, things he never knew existed. He saw wars. He saw great confrontation. He saw light against dark. He saw the names of the many entities. What an experience. He was actually there. Jason did not understand what he was seeing, but he marveled at the information and found it hard to release his grip from the crystal. It was so compelling. Being mindful of the game and his limited time, Jason put the crystal down, still realizing, reeling with emotion at what he had just seen. Back on the path, he realized that his crystal touching experience had only taken a few moments. It seemed like it was so much longer. He was still within the time parameters. Jason moved forward on the path, but in a not too long time, he heard some more voices, and he stopped. "What voices is this?" he said to himself. "I recognize it." Jason realized that was the voice of his mother. He turned to the left and saw another group of crystals, and not too far from him. He moved over to the group and somehow recognized his mother's crystal. But with the name embedded upon it was unfamiliar. He stayed for a moment, trying to hear what she was saying, but he could not. It had been years since she has passed on, and yet here she was, or was it only a crystal? Jason had a choice. He knew he wanted to touch his mother's crystal. Something else said it was too private to do. Jason rationalized. This is family, and she would want me to have her memory. Therefore, I'm going to touch it. So Jason touched the crystal, and immediately he was in the reality of the many lifetimes of for his mother, and the Akashic records of her experience on earth unfolded before him. He saw the many lives that she had, and all the years that she had spent on the planet, and the years that she had spent elsewhere, up to and including the one he was in. Then he saw the one that she was in now as a child, that he was not part of. It was fascinating, and he wept with a remembrance and joy for her service. Oh, this is wonderful. What a game it is this, he said out loud in the cave, and with some difficulty he took his hand away, only to realize that the crystal next to it was his father's. And Jason touched that as well, and he had a similar experience there, and he said again, "This is wonderful. What a study this is. I am so honored. I am so honored." This was time was now growing short. Jason knew that he had to move on, or he would not make it to the exit in time. So Jason started quickly down the path and proceeded to within a few feet of the exit, when he heard another voice. This time he recognized that it was his own. Time was now growing short. Jason knew he had to move on to where he would not make it to the exit in time. So Jason started quickly down the path and proceeded to within a few feet. Okay, when he heard his voice. Okay, so he turned to the right, and there was another crystal glowing. On this one, he recognized the name, for there was a private spiritual name etched into the crystal in what looked like Arabic letters, which spelled his astral name. Jason looked at the exit of the cave a few feet away, with full knowledge that he only had a few moments left. Then he looked at the crystal and made up his mind. He simply could not pass up the opportunity. He turned to the right and touched the crystal with his name on it. Needless to say, Jason did not make it out of the cave in the time allotted to him for the game to be complete. He stayed there, reveling in his own past lives and the great understanding of who he was and who he was supposed to be, with a tremendous understanding of the overview of who his mother and father were in his past lives and who he was in their lives as well. And Jason awoke. Jason thought, what a wonderful dream this has been. Then he remembered all of it. But I'm sorry I did not win the game, he lamented. So Jason went forward with his life, not understanding what the dream really meant. If I could play it again, it would be different. I know the pitfalls now. Jason did not understand that he was in the game still. The end of the parable. So the author's postscript. Many who read this little story feel that that the path through the cave is a person's life, and that the exit is the end of the life. Actually, Kryon's explanation is that the path is indeed life, but the exit represents illumination, self-realization, enlightenment, and a change in the future. Therefore, the parable represents a human being with a seemingly straightforward task. Walk the path from the start to the finish without spending too much time looking around, and you will get there. Really, there is much more information here. Kryon tells us that we are the exalted ones walking this planet, and that while we are here, we tend to feel the opposite and spend a great deal of time studying the past. I quote from Kryon book number 2, page 204. Kryon wants us to know that if the star players of the game becomes enthralled and stand motionless in awe of of his teammates, that the game will never be played, much less won. We are to gather information as tools for our own actions. We are never to study the members of our support group to the extent that it stops our own development. Past life regression is great unless you tend to live in the past all the time. Studying the history of the metaphysical universe is enlightening unless that's all that you do. Kryon recognizes that there is more information available on these subjects than at any other time in history in the world. And it's fascinating information due to our new powers of discernment and intuition. However, if our goal in life is to discover our own personal reasons for being here, to raise the vibration of the planet, and to move forward with self-realization, then we cannot spend all our time looking at what was. What would we have done if we were Jason? would we have stopped when we found your? Would you have stopped when you found your crystal? I know I would have. Sometimes the distractions are almost irresistible. I guess that's why God calls what we are doing, work. The end. Okay, so I would love you to share with me what you got from the parable this morning, what it was telling you, or what you gained from it, your insights, understandings. Who's going to be first? Barbara.
It was actually an easy parable to understand the meaning of, I think. There wasn't, yeah, you didn't have to think too deeply about it because it was pretty much all laid out there for you. But what sort of occurred to me, I mean, obviously you stay on your path and you don't get involved in distractions. That's what it's basically saying. But you know, sometimes we get involved in distractions which we think are the right kind of distractions. Like I have a thing pops up on my phone all the time, probably because of the stuff that I watch on YouTube. So-and-so says something about the coming of the aliens, for example. UFOs spotted somewhere. And because, you know, I often read about that kind of thing, of course, it keeps coming up on my phone. And if I'm possibly going to read something else, which is much more meaningful to me, as far as staying on my path is concerned, I will immediately switch and have a look at the aliens thing, which isn't going to keep me on my path. So that's how it, that's how I see myself in that situation. I am always being pulled away by things, and they're not necessarily just worldly things, you know, they're all sorts of things that I'm interested in. And I agree about past lives. I mean, there's no point at all in knowing where you've been. It's only where you are that's important. Yeah,
okay.
That's, yeah.
Cool. Who else would like to share in what they got from the parable? Vanessa.
Yes, it all comes back to that book that I'm looking at. Yes, I immediately felt it resonate with me because that book is like a crystal. And I got so involved in it that I had to let go and, you know, for the rest of the week not touch it because I got so involved in the past. And I had to live my life this week as well. So, yes, it's a very cool parable. I know I've heard it before, and it's one of my favorites. Yes, keep yourself in the now and live the life you're here for. I mean, because I do past life regression, I kind of, you know, I like history and I like going into the past life regression. And I feel you can keep the good of it. You don't have to focus on the suffering, but if you look at the aspects of your personalities in a past life that you would like to bring forward into this life, and that often happens to me, that I see a strong person and I'd like some part of their personality to stay with me in this life. I do enjoy that, but you must also be very careful that you don't live in the past, that you don't think that the past is more important than the present. Yes.
Yes, and myself that also do past life regressions, it has its time and its place. Valuable information can be received from it, but it's like in anything in life. When we do too much of it, it's also wrong. Even if it's the most right thing that we do. And I think that's what he was trying to bring across. Doesn't matter what enlightening thing you think you are doing to gain more insight and understanding. If you do too much of it, it's also distracting you from actually living it. Some people are just in books. I'm not saying you know, others that I know. They will read this book and read this book and read this book and read this book. But if you don't integrate it, see what resonates, what doesn't resonate, apply it, then it's still just somebody else's story. just somebody else's enlightenment. It's another one's realizations. If you don't experience it for yourself, and that's why the meditations is good, because you actually get to experience certain things for yourself, and then you make it your truth. It is, you still have to walk the path. Some people, they'll say, oh, this is a spiritual guru, or this is a special spiritual person, I will be with them, or I will marry them. And then I'm also like that. But if you don't actually walk the path, you can't take another's enlightenment or whatever as your own. You can't claim it by just being connected to them or just being in their presence. You have to walk the path yourself. You have to do the things yourself. You have to go to the uncomfortable places within you to understand that and to move forward. But we do get, and especially over this retrograde period with 5 planets retrograding, there's a lot of the past things that are coming up for us. And you can either, and for others, and you can either play victim, still the victim and persecutor roles that some people still try to harp on or play on and say, oh, but I've been done in or whatever. But it's the past. It's to realize what things are the past and what things are the present and what you want to change in the present. And change it and keep on changing it and change your reality. Align your reality to your truth. If it's some people will, in the past, when they come to me for healings, they'll say, but it's a dangerous world that we live in, and it's this and this, this and this. And then I took them on my veranda and overlooked the nature, and I said, but this is my reality. This is the beautiful planet that we live in. There's nothing scary that I can see. In front of me is just beauty. And around us is just beauty. We have to stay focused in where we are. Because everybody can place themselves on different parts of this planet. And you still have freedom of movement, okay, restricted movement now, but you can still choose where you stay, where you live, where you are. And it's to see how perfect that is for this spot that you are now. And be more, when you're present, you're more aware of what's your reality now than falling for what media is presenting or what others are presenting. Oh, but you must be, this is all the things that you must be afraid of. If you really stand where you are, none of those things is in your reality at this moment in time. Like maybe 0.0000001 of that. In the passing in a shopping center, maybe. But all the things that people want you to distract your attention, not to go within, not to sit still. No, but it gets like, let's rather do this or let's rather do that. It's just to bring yourself back to you. And that's a beautiful definition of meditation that Anita read for us last week about meditation being actually just having a meeting with you. And it's connecting with the parts of us, the truth of us, and moving then forward from that. Okay. Anybody else would like to share what they got from the reading? Parisha?
For me, it's bringing back to what you first said about discontentment and creativity. And I was reflecting on creativity because we have the choice to create. So the past lives is just understanding context, and we can choose to take what we want to go forward. We don't have to keep it all and make it a basis and justify our future. We have a right to choose a beautiful future, to create it. And yes, there's distractions. I would so have picked up those stones and be immersed in it. I know I would.
Yes.
Because we're curious.
Of course, yes. Who can resist? Because you see, because as we go through the experiences in life, we sometimes wonder, but why is the person acting the way they are? Why are they doing the way they do, or thinking the way So sometimes out of curiosity, we just want to understand them better, because they've either been on your path or whatever, and but it's ultimately to understand you better, because it's just reflections, and it's just parts that are on their path, and it's actually none of your business, because you are your business. You have to focus, bring focus to self. And a lot of people tend to wonder more about other people than themselves. So yeah, there's value in it, in just coming back to self. Barbara.
Just on that, I wanted to say a quick thing, because I'm guilty of this. But you know, when you're focusing on other people who you can see are, you know, not really on their path, it's a question of trying to replace being judgmental with being compassionate. Because when I see somebody, I think, why can't you? Why are you so filled with hate, or why are you so filled with guilt or fear, or whatever it is? But then to be critical rather than compassionate. That's my problem in life. I have to try. I get frustrated, particularly if it's people that are close to me, and I just can't understand. But then, yeah, it's just a question of letting it be, and knowing that they'll get there. They'll get to the end of the cave eventually.
Yeah, and it's we first have to be able to do that before we can
Get there yourself.
Okay, yeah. So it is you need to do it for yourself, realize it, and then be others. But you see, we don't always know the bigger picture. We think we do, but we can't see everything. And I know the masters sometimes say, but how do you know what is past karma, what is present karma, and sort of what is future karma? Because we think, okay, this, oh, we've paid off karma, but we might have created karma. Or we think they're not seeing that, but it's like a vantage point in our human body is so, I'm going to say, limited, that we can't just assume that we know everything by just having what we know now. They might not look on their path, but sometimes we have to get lost before we are found. We have to be lost before we on the right path, doing the right things with the right people. We don't see at which point they are. We might think the journey is X, Y, Z, and then you get to the end. But we might think of them, oh, they're now only at A. But they might get from A to Z in a lot shorter period than we did. Again, that's what I mentioned last week as well. It's like when we sometimes what have taken me years in the past now happens in one session with a client. So time is speeding up, and our evolutionary process is speeding up. So I've had people that was married to spiritual people for, say, 25 years, and they never meditated, they never participated, they thought it's all woo stuff, and they're not going there. And then when they got divorced, suddenly the meditator started meditating. They were astral traveling like crazy. They had the most magical experiences, but they during the marriage they never participated in it because it was somebody else's job, or they did it, so they didn't. But as soon as that shift happened for them, they had to. Oh, okay, so what is this? What was I missing out on? And they caught up very quickly. So it's in this awakening process is just to hold the light, be that, and allow others to do, because their shift might be a lot quicker than it was for us. It's like, yeah, so everything is not as it seems. That's one thing that I've learned from Kryon, and it keeps on coming up So yeah, it's just to allow that.
Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So are you ready for the meditation? I want to get you all to become ready. Okay. Welcome to the next guided meditation in the receiving and retrieving information. I want you to take slow, deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth as you just detach, release and let go of all that no longer serves you. Either lie down or sit comfortably, whatever is your choice. And just allow yourself to come back fully into your body with slow, deep breaths. Expand your lower abdomen as you breathe in, and contract your lower abdomen as you breathe out. Relaxing, relaxing even more. Calling in my gatekeeper angel, Angel Geishla, for divine protection around us individually and collectively and around this portal of alchemy. Only permitting in those energies, vibrations and frequencies that come forth in love and light in our space here today. Calling in your higher light and calling in my higher light. And calling in all those light being guides that work with us and through us and helps us with our ascension process. Calling in all those celestial beings of light that wish to join us in this now. Calling in our star families of the light. Our guardian angels. And all those beings of light that are contracted to work with us, walk beside us, and help us on our journey here on earth and the game that we came to play. Calling in the full essence and presence of Father, Mother, God, the great central sun, the source of all that is. And continue by taking deep breaths. Seeing yourself completely rooted in your body. Now envision in your heart center a beautiful orb of golden light. As this orb pulses, it grows brighter and stronger, strengthening its brilliance with rays of beautiful golden light extending outwards. In this time and in this space, you are now able to reconnect with your stellar wisdom, to access the records of all time, of all dimensions. You are able to seek wisdom from the other aspects of yourself that are participating in the completion of this galactic game. From Alcyon, the central sun, information is pulsating towards you. It contains your stellar history, information on the star systems you have been to, the lessons that you have learned, important memories, why you came to Earth, what you wanted to integrate, how best to be of service in the galactic consciousness. You now see this light pulsating across the galaxy. It passes through the sun, Helios, collecting records and information. It passes by the inner planets, enters through the Earth's atmosphere, down through your crown chakra, and enters into the golden orb of light that you hold in your heart center. Just allow yourself to open yourself up fully to receive the download of these information in this now moment to the maximum that you can absorb and receive. Continue with conscious breathing as you receive more information. This is the stellar light of wisdom that is now contained within you. You have access to it at will at any time. This information is revealed to you in the most appropriate way and is alignment with your highest good and the highest intention for the benefit of yourself and all others. You are able to receive clearly and effortlessly this information as you requested. Allow yourself now to assimilate with the wisdom within. Allow yourself now to align your will with the divine will. Now, again, that spirit reveals to you what you are busy co-creating with it for yourself in this new energies and evolving into. Just open yourself up to the images, the words, the feelings. Allow yourself to receive a greater healing. And the ability to fully step into your full power in a loving and kind way. If you have any questions to the beings of light that surround you, use this time to ask them now while connected. For any guidance, clarity, or direction. About your next evolutionary step forward. And being who you truly are. As the planets are now aligned for the solar eclipse on the solstice, you now fall into alignment and feel everything within you aligning. your human self with your I am presence. And Father, Mother, God, the great central sun, the source of all that is, with a great understanding, clarity and direction for the game of love that you came to play here on this earth plane. How beautiful can you create your life to be? What are the core aspects that you would like in that life? What would you like to experience more of in your reality? Then surrender into that. Allowing yourself to effortlessly, graciously gravitate into the next orbit. Your life now orbiting in a new field, new dimensions, new realities, new consciousness and awareness. For you to experience your highest and greatest human potential on this earth plane. Effortless. Standing in your true nature, your magnificence and your splendor as a magnificent being of love and light, walking this earth plane in this now creation. Fearlessly, courageously, harmoniously, lovingly, powerfully. Not by doing, but by being. And it is done. Want you now to gently come back to the sacred space, back into your body. Feeling your whole beingness being totally alive. Pulsating with energies, vibrations and frequencies. And I want you now to visualize the most beautiful golden bubble of light Coming down the front of your body, the back of your body, the left side and the right side of your body, and gently tuck beneath your feet, 2 feet below you. Now visualize a grounding cord, any color of your choosing, which you take deep down into the earth, into the heartbeat of Mother Earth. Connecting to the most beautiful rose quartz crystal at the core of Mother Earth. And feel those crystalline energies coming back up your grounding cord into your golden bubble of light. Feel yourself connected as above, so below. In total alignment of who you are. And when you are ready, you may slowly rotate your hands, rotate your feet, stretch and make sure that you're properly back into your body. And when you are, you may open your eyes.
Hi. I had this overwhelming sense of love, being love, living in love, and healing through love. So I probably need to unpack this whole envelope of love. And I can feel heat on my ears and everywhere.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Thank you, Fee.
Thank you. Thank you. Who else would like to share what they experienced in this meditation? Barbara?
For me, it was a very weird experience, I've got to say.
Yes.
Nothing like my usual meditations. You know, I sort of lay there and I saw, or I asked actually, for all the thoughts and ideas that I have about myself to disappear, to go. And then what was left behind was black stone. And I looked at it and I thought, this is unacceptable. This is just not who I am. It was so weird. And anyway, thankfully, as I looked at it, I suppose I must have co-created something different, because it began to change into something, to a small light, the density left it completely, and it just started to glow and rise. And I watched it rise, and that was the end of my meditation. But it was so weird.
Beautiful.
So weird, first of all, that I thought when everything was gone, I would be just this black stone. But then I changed it. It was really strange. Anyway, thank you. I loved it. Lovely meditation.
Okay, it means at a deep level you've changed your perception about you.
Yes. Yeah, I think so.
And it's now to see yourself as this new light.
Instead of a black stone.
Shining and rising.
It was great. It was really, really nice. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing that. Who else would like to share what they gained from the meditation or experience?
Okay, there you go. I had a lot of imagery and a lot of symbols and sacred geometry and numbers and spirit guides, animal spirit guides especially. But I also had a lot of experience also with love, lots of hearts and rainbow, and that's how I need to share, is my healing is through love, and the world needs to love each other to heal. And also I had a very similar experience where I went into like a black cocoon, which freaked me out a little bit. I was like, oh my goodness, what's happening? And then suddenly I popped out as this golden fairy kind of thing. And so yeah, it was beautiful, yeah, very profound.
Lovely. Thank you for sharing that. Awesome. Anyone else? Okay, you do just the Parisha.
Mine was just lots of gratitude. I get so frustrated because I really want to see more, like imagery and all of that. But for me, it's like I was feeling a lot. And the biggest message was that I've come through it. I was feeling and seeing that the worst is behind me, and I must now really accept where I am and stand in it and enjoy it.
Yes. Beautiful. The most important thing for us is to feel. So I'm glad that you could. Well done. So we want to end up with the thing that I shared yesterday from Sharon, where she spoke about the solar eclipse and the numerology of 13, which is a 4-day, the number of transformation through the heart. And it's interesting that most of you have felt that heartfelt feelings and the love. So it's very appropriate to transform into that. The solar eclipse is the most potent and magical new moon and of this whole year, presenting you with the support of the moon to manifest the life that you've been dreaming about. So journal down your intentions for the next 6 months. Get really specific and detailed with what you want to manifest. So this is sort of homework if you want to choose to participate in that. It's only you that's going to benefit. The new moon in Cancer is a perfect time to connect with your heart and really hold space for how you've been feeling. This is a time to reconsider your path and make positive adjustments for your life journey, to live more aligned with your heart and your soul. Ask yourself, what does your heart want? Where is it leading me? What is it calling me to do? This magical solar eclipse will also be conjunct with the North Node, meaning this moon will open up a portal to provide you with the signs and messages about your soul purpose. Be sure to keep your eyes and heart open to receiving these. Clear what isn't love. The new moon, fresh starts are a great time to clear away any habits that make you feel disconnected and discontent from your heart. Whether it's a time to quit scrolling on social media or time to stop eating lots of sugar. You know what might be dragging you down. Now is the ideal time to make the shift. Connect to your heart energy all day long. So I invite you to stay in your heart space and be in this connected space and enjoy it. Allow your heart to guide you through the next 6 months that we have of this very exciting yeah. And I thank you for joining in this special meditation and satsang today. So thank you. Have a magical week. Lots of love to you all.
Thanks very much, Fiona. Beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Beautiful.
Okay. Thanks. Bye.
Yes.
Thanks a lot. Bye.